Everybody, good to see you. All right. So, hey, everybody, welcome to Uncle Phil's Moments in Time. Today, we're doing something a little different. This isn't just trivia. I'm not going to ask you who had the number one song in 1987 and move on to the next question. Today, we're talking about memories because music has a funny way of taking you somewhere. You can hear a song you haven't heard in 20 years and suddenly you're 17 again. You're back in your first car, you're at your first dance, you're sitting in somebody's bedroom listening to the radio. And sometimes one song can bring back a person you haven't thought about in years. So today, I want you guys to talk to each other. Tell us your songs, tell us your stories, tell us about the movies you remember. And don't just give me the answer, tell me why. Let's take a trip through the music and memories of our lives. All right, everybody. Just want to say hello to everybody. All right. So I like to call these more of trivia conversation. Trivia, not necessarily trivia questions, but things that stimulate conversation. So, first off, what decade were you a teenager in? And what kind of music were you listening to back then? So if you're just getting here, welcome everybody. We're going down memory lane. So question number one, what decade were you a teenager in and what kind of music were you listening to? I was a teenager in the 80s. So I would say that was a great time to be a teenager. Times were a little bit different than they are now. So this is, I'm early on. This is my first show like this. So, I don't have very much exposure. So, might not be a lot of people with me this live, but hopefully you guys can catch this after it's posted and maybe be here for the next one. But I hope this can be a fun format. So, what decade were you a teenager in, and what kind of music were you listening to back then? Well, let's see. I'll share a little bit. Um, like I said, I was a teenager in the '80s, and I listened to a variety of different music, depending on what part of the '80s that we're talking about. If early on, I listened to a lot of music videos from MTV. That's kind of dates me a little bit. But yeah, I would listen to videos. I remember videos like from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. You Got Lucky. That was a good video. Me and my brother used to watch that on MTV. And my dad, this was even before I was a teenager, but even going back to adolescence, my dad was a huge Elvis Presley fan, so we listened to a lot of Elvis Presley. And although, I enjoyed the Elvis Presley music, that was something that was my dad was listening to that that I started liking from that. But uh, things evolved. I started listening to harder rock. I started listening to still from MTV videos. You could watch Def Leppard, Pyromaniac, and Rock of Ages, and things like that. And then I would say I hit my stride as a teenager when I started listening to Metallica, Kill 'Em All, and things like that. And there was all different variety of music. But anyway, that touches base a little bit. Uh, Mia loves Cat's Eye. She says hi. I say hello back. Mia, you got any thing you want to share about when you were a teenager and what kind of music you listened to? So this is all about conversations and memories. And like I said, hopefully in the future we'll build a bigger audience. So I appreciate you guys taking the time with a baby YouTube channel that is just trying this for the first time. But most of the things that I do on my channel, it's all about moments in time. Uh, take the time to appreciate each moment, and so we can reminisce about some of these moments. All right. So, like I said, I listened to Elvis Presley because my dad was listening to that, and you know, uh, my mom and dad got a divorce in the '80s, and so I remember some music my mom would listen to. There was the Commodores and just different things. Hey Jacob, how you doing? Eliza M J56, hello, how you doing? All right, so we're gonna move on. I'm glad that we got some people joining us, and please, people, don't be shy. Just write something down in the chat. We're just having conversation. I got my coffee. We're just hanging out. Got to go to work today. Working long hours at the steel mill, so I'm gonna go to work and work my 12 hours. My dad's gonna come over in a little bit and shoot pool, so I got some time to hang out with you guys, maybe an hour or so, and I was hoping we make the best. All right, so Jacob's doing good. Jacob, I'd like to hear from you, so let's see what the next question conversation piece is, and let's see if you give us a little bit about yourself. What was the song you couldn't stop listening to when you were in high school? What was the song you couldn't stop listening to when you were in high school? Now these questions, they bring back memories. They're not necessarily, you got to think. Some of them come to you instantly and some you got to think about. What was that song you used to listen to a lot in high school? Or what was that album that you used to wear out? And this might give a little clue of your age. Were you listening to it on cassette tape? Were you listening to it on CD? Were you listening to it on the radio, waiting to record it? Were you downloading it from Napster? So anyway, What was that song you couldn't stop listening to when you were in high school? Or even if you have brothers or sisters, do you remember any of the songs that they would play over and over and over again? Well, let's see. Like I said, I'm from the teenage years from the 80s, and I played songs from Appetite for Destruction, from Guns N' Roses a lot. Uh, and I'm not saying I overplayed it. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but you would hear it a lot on the radio. Welcome to the Jungle was played a lot. And even I remember the music video and the song One by Metallica. That was played an extreme amount. Sometimes it even, when a song gets overplayed, it hurts the band maybe. So, what was that song you couldn't stop listening to when you were in high school? Hi, Granny Paul. How are you doing? Who's going to be the first brave person to chat a conversation? Who's going to be the first person that will chat a conversation? All right, what song you couldn't stop listening to? Well, I'll just go to an album. I played Metallica Kill 'Em All a whole bunch. Let's see, I would, we played cassette tapes. Later we got CDs and stuff, but, and that was music that they didn't play on the radio really at all. And so I played it a lot on cassette tape. All right. Now here's a question, and if we don't have anybody to answer or not enough people watching, hopefully you guys can watch this after it's posted and answer some of these questions and be ready for the next time that we do this, so you'll know our format, know that we're just wanting to hang out and talk. Next time, hopefully I'll give you a further advance, and then you can have your coffee ready, or your margarita, or whatever you're drinking. All right. What was your love song when you were a teenager? What was your love song when you were a teenager? That's a good one. Does anybody remember, or do you just have a love song that maybe a teenager would like that you can think of? I think of the songs that may have been around when my parents were younger. Them were some neat songs. Guess they would be from the 50s, maybe the 60s. All right. What was your love song when you were a teenager? Well, I remember, I'll tell you one, and it's funny that my music taste really changed, but when you're a young teenager, sometimes those sappy songs are pretty good. But I remember REO Speedwagon, Can't Fight This Feeling. That was a good teenage love song. Adriana, how are you doing? Did I say that right, Adriana? Adriana, do you have a song, a love song that you remember from when you were a teenager? I shared a couple, uh, REO Speedwagon, Can't Fight This Feeling, and I remember the band Chicago. Uh, they had all kinds of sappy love songs that were pretty good. Uh, they were a farmer rock band, but they got into the love songs, but they were good. Let's see. Can you think of a Chicago love song? Can anybody think of a love song from the band Chicago? Oh man, I'm envisioning a few, but I can't put a name on one. Let's see. I think they did "Power of Love" from was that "Power of Love" from one of the Karate Kid movies? Oh, uh, let's see. Chicago love songs. Anybody remember a song? If anybody remembers a song by the band Chicago, those sappy love songs they used to put out, go ahead and put that in the comments. Now, we'll get a little more personal. So, this teenage love song that I bring up, do you have a memory of a specific person with this love song? I think everybody remembers their teenage love or teenage crush, or I guess when you say crush, it could be in the sense that you really like somebody and maybe they liked you back, but sometimes crush can mean that there was heartbreak involved. All right. Question number 4. What song takes you immediately back to a particular person from your younger years? All right, well, that could be like we just spoke of, like the love song might bring back a particular boy or girl that you think of and that you had a crush on. But this question asks, what song takes you immediately back to a particular person from your younger years? So, uh, that might not be a romantic person or memory. It could be, oh, this song brings back memories of having fun, partying with this person, or even just a random memory of a person, even a random person. But I think music has the power to stir some of these memories. And I'm excited to see some of you guys' comments of what memories you have. Uh, and it takes, I don't know, I think it takes a little bit of vulnerability to share memories. All right. What song takes you immediately back to a particular person from your younger years? Well, I could think of so many, and you know, I don't dwell on the past, and there were some hard times in the past for me, you know, and there were some great times too. But anyway, what I'm saying is I don't dwell on the past, but I could think of song after song after song and have a memory of just different events. A lot of the, you know, right or wrong, this is just the way it was when I was a teenager. A lot of these songs could remind me of just partying, people that I would party with. And, speaking of memories of people, I got a person got a hold of me via Facebook, and we're gonna meet up soon, and I haven't seen him in over over 40 years, probably about 40 years. But we were good friends as early teens, and I think we'll hit the ground running and be friends when we meet up again. And I actually remember a mixtape, a cassette tape, a mixed cassette tape that he made, uh, and we played it in our little ghetto blaster, and it had the song. Uh, what was it? Joe Walsh. It was a Joe Walsh song. Bases are loaded in case he's at bat. Uh, Whatever song that was, it had an Ozzy song on it. And I remember thinking, wow, these are some cool songs. So, see, that's 40 years ago plus, and I still remember that cassette tape. So, there is a power in music and bring back some memories. Now, speaking of the power of music and memories, my mom suffered from dementia when she passed, and I would go visit her and the other residents at the memory care facility. And I would play music. Me and my wife would go there and sing a little bit. I got a terrible voice, but they were a pretty good crowd. They didn't care. And but we would, and I would play music, just songs. Make a playlist and play it to them or whatever. And these residents, they wouldn't. Well, even my mom, she wouldn't even remember my name, or uh, the residents wouldn't remember their family necessarily, or they wouldn't remember what they spoke of 5 minutes ago. But when I would play those old hymns, they would remember the words and sing them and cry. So there's power in music, and in that case, there's also the power of God in those songs. But anyway, some of these old songs, and they could be remembered by dementia and Alzheimer patients. So there's power in music. All right, so we're gonna break it up a little bit, and I wanted to ask an occasional movie memory question. What was the first movie you remember going to see on a date? Ooh-wee. What was the first movie you remember seeing on a date? No, I won't. Well, I won't say an exact movie, but I can remember there was a movie theater that would play movies on Fridays for $1, and me and this girl would go to the movies on Fridays, and we would enjoy each other's company at the theater, and so that's a memory. And sometimes we wouldn't even know what the movie was about because we were enjoying each other's company so much. All right, here we go. Jason says, "Hello, hello. I remember seeing Clint Eastwood, Robert Mitchum, Kelly's Heroes. They didn't make sense ah because they already what's that say? Already Hogan's Heroes." All right, so Jason, let me ask you: Uh, so the name of that movie was Kelly's Heroes. And do you remember the uh, the person you took to that movie? Or is that just a movie you remember as a teenager? All right, so I'm proud of Jason for stepping up to the plate and sharing a memory. Jason, hats off to you because that's exactly what we're trying to do. I appreciate it. All right, so let's continue on. Let's talk movies, memories, and it don't necessarily have to be about a girl or anything. But all right, I'll change. Actually, we'll make it movies that remind me of my dad, and so he would take us to go see the Rocky movies when they came out, and movies were, in my opinion, a bigger deal. Uh, we would go see them at the theater, and they didn't have Netflix and things like that, uh, so it was a big deal going to see a movie, see it with your family or see it with your friends. But I remember going to see the Rocky movies. All right, so Kelly's Heroes came out in 1971. Jason says, and Don Rickles was in it. Now that Don Rickles, that guy was, I mean, he's like the king of back in the day of quick-witted, outrageous comedy, kind of like uh, he could do comedy, spur of the moment, improvise, and I'm sure he did stuff that was well written and stuff like that. But he was a character. You never knew, is this his character or is this who he really is? He was a nut. All right. All right. So back to the music. Jason, thank you. I'm going to give a heart for Jason uh, being such an awesome person. All right. Excuse me. What song reminds you of your first serious relationship? Uh oh. What song reminds you of your first serious relationship? Oh, I'm waiting for my first serious relationship before I remember the song. No, I'm just kidding. I'm married. I have a serious relationship. But before I was married, did I have a serious relationship? Maybe. What song reminds you of your first serious relationship? And was it a happy memory or one of those songs you still have trouble listening to? That's kind of intriguing perspective that there could be a song. That's what music does. A song could bring a happy memory. I mean, boom, you're back in the day. You're remembering that memory. You're remembering that person. A lot of love going on. Or it could be a song that instantly brings back hard memory. Maybe you can't listen to the song no more. Maybe you even love the song, but you can't listen to it no more because it stirs up too much emotion. What song reminds you of your first serious relationship? Good question. Let me think about that for a second. I can't share it all. Let's see. Well, I'll share. Well, I like to write songs, so sometimes I write songs on my YouTube channel. I have songs that I write about people. All right, question number 7. What song reminds you of your best friend when you were younger? That could be wrong, but in my perspective, uh, I think girls would relate more to that question, but not necessarily. What song reminds you of your best friend when you were younger? We got a Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Ah, Sarah, that's a great comment. Serious relationship song. If you don't know me by now, turns out I didn't. That's a beautiful, powerful comment you made. And now who did, what version of that song that was that Simply Red that sang that song? Yep, Simply Red. All right, so Jason says on the bus ride to basketball, we always played when they had tapes, Hall and Oates. It was a coach's decision. He wanted the baseball games on this. Is back in 1981. Well, speaking of Hall and Oates, uh, we listened to Hall and Oates at my house. That was something that the parents would listen to. Well, mostly my mom, maybe. Uh, um, my sister would listen to. My brother, me. Just, Hall and Oates was good. I think they covered many generations. I think, yeah, Hall and Oates was real good. Now, Sarah, let me ask you: is that song hard for you to listen to today, even, or does it still bring back the memories? And how old are these memories? Are they over 20 years ago, or are they more recent and less than 20 years ago? Anybody, you just chime in. Anything you got to say is cherished and honored if you have a comment for us. Beautiful comments so far, and I thank you so much. About 10 years ago? Well, that's good, Sarah. Uh, I remember a song, and I was a teenager, and I guess it was maybe kind of like a first heartbreak, and there was the song Save All Your Love by Great White. And I'm not saying all the lyrics pertain to my situation, but it's just it was a slow song, and I remember feeling kind of sad that I know it's hard to believe, but that a girl broke up with me. And but it's funny because while I was feeling sad, and I was a teenager, and we're at my house, we probably got a handful of friends over or whatever. I was feeling sad, and I was maybe off to myself, and there was another girl that came to comfort me, and we ended up being boyfriend and girlfriend. So things happen. All right, so that was beautiful. Next question. What song instantly puts you in a good mood no matter how old it gets? Now, that is a really good question, and I need people to comment because not every question do I have a great answer for. So, what song instantly puts you in a good mood no matter how old it gets? And, that's kind of hard for me to think of at the moment because sometimes I don't remember what that song is until it happens to come on. All right, now, Sarah says, celebrate Kool and the Gang. Now, Sarah, if you don't mind, where are you from? Because I think that, and I'm from the St. Louis area, and I think that Celebrate was like the song for the Cardinals in one of their World Series years. And so that was, but anyway, all right, from Connecticut. All right, awesome. All right, Whitney Houston, I Want to Dance with Somebody, makes Sarah smile. And I remember that video. Like I said, I was from the MTV early days generation. And I remember, I think Whitney was only 17 when that song came out. But I remember her with her curly permed hair or whatever, or curly hair, and young and dancing and singing that song. And I think she transcended music styles, or I mean, she could bring people in that maybe wouldn't listen to that. She was, she had the it factor or whatever. She had a little bit of magic going on. So, and Whitney Houston. Speaking of Whitney Houston, we're getting ready to go to a movie question, and The Bodyguard, or is it My Body? No, it was The Bodyguard. She did so good in that movie, and her voice was unbelievable. And it's sad what happened to Whitney, but what an artist. All right. What movie from your younger years could you watch over and over and never get tired of? Well, like I said, I would. I didn't watch it over and over and over again, but I still watch the Rocky movies, and they did a different thing. Like now, when I watch the movie Rocky, it's still a great movie, one of the best. It just is a rock solid movie. But back in the day, when you would see Rocky at the movie theater or maybe early cable channel, the movie channel and HBO, but you would see Rocky as a teenager. You're out there the next day ready to start lifting weights and going jogging and jump roping and doing different things because Rocky could really stir up some enthusiasm. All right. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacations. Speaking of Christmas movies, that's how you become a successful movie maker. Is you make a good Christmas movie, and that thing is played over and over, year after year after year after year. So, if you're getting ready to make a movie, think about making a Christmas movie. If you get fortunate enough to knock it out of the park, you'll be immortalized by it playing every year. 16 Candles. People love that movie. And that's another nostalgic movie because you can, it takes you back to younger days, but it also you can see these stars when they were younger, and so yeah, great movie, great movies. All right, let's see. I'm gonna think of one more movie. I said the Rocky, and that reminds me of just the way it would pump you up, and I would start exercising for about 2 days, then I'd forget about it. And but it also reminds me, my dad. He was like that. Oh, okay. And I remember Superman with Christopher Reeves when that came out. That was like, oh, a big deal. And that was there wasn't as many superhero movies back then, so it was kind of special. Superman wasn't a lot of, but nowadays there's so many superhero movies. All right, great answers. Sarah, you're a great friend, it feels like. A Negro. All right, how are you doing today, a Negro? All right, here's a question for you. Let's see if anybody wants to chime in. We'd much appreciate it. Back to the music. What artist or band did you absolutely love when you were young? What band or artist did you absolutely love when you were young? And while you guys are thinking, I'll say one. I loved Metallica when I was young. I guess that was my number one band as a teenager, and I still have went and seen them the last couple concerts that they came. So that's that. But what artist or band did you absolutely love when you were young? And do you still listen to them today? A Negro, do you have any bands or artists that you remember that you really loved a lot when you were younger? And has your music style changed over time? Madonna, Pearl Jam, yes. I like Madonna. Uh, I would say in the '80s a lot. And Pearl Jam. I had spent some time in the Great Northwest, and got to be a little bit part of that culture, and so Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, uh, you know, there was and I'm not saying that I was so super embedded in the scene, but uh, I got to, I lived in the Seattle area and Olympia and Tacoma, and they had a great music scene, uh, way beyond just them big popular bands. Mariah Carey, now Mariah Carey, she kind of come in like a freight train with her musical career, in my opinion. Her She had a great voice, and she was pretty and all that, but she had that high pitched voice when she first started that was made her kind of famous. Sarah, do you have uh, a favorite song from any of these three people you just mentioned? If anybody has a favorite song from their teenage years or maybe even their 20s, throw it out there and we can talk about that. So that goes out to anybody. Throw out a song that, and we'll talk about it. We don't have to follow a perfect format of everything. Throw out a song that you really like and love, and we'll talk about why, maybe. And yeah, so that's an interesting thing that I just thought of. That sometimes the why we love a song might even be different than, our like for that style of music or whatever. Yellow Ledbetter for Pearl Jam. Now, like I said, I used to love these bands too, and I remember I was in my early 20s, and I had a microphone, and friends would come over, and we would sing. Some guys play guitar or whatever, but we would just sing songs. I would play like a CD, and I sang Yellow Yet Ledbetter, and not very good, but I would like to try to sing the Pearl Jam songs and the Soundgardens, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, singing, listening to music, good times. Randy Travis, he was an excellent country singer too. He had problems with his voice lately. Oh, yes, he has. And yeah, Randy Travis, he's a Hall of Fame singer. He's humongous. He's great. That's what I think of Randy Travis. He's wonderful. Now, Randy Travis did have the problems with his voice, and I don't know if you've seen his AI helped song. It's been a handful of years that he put out, and it was different than, like, I make AI songs, but they're not using my voice. I just write the lyrics. But when he used AI to help him, it was completely different. It was used by all his voice from his catalog that he had made, and boy, you talk about could bring a tear to your eye for Randy to get his voice back. But yeah, I love Randy Travis. And any country music lovers out there, Madonna, Like a Prayer. Uh, and Vogue. Now, Like a Prayer, that video and the song, I'm not sure if the video and the lyrics of the song, they could give like conflict. Some people would see that video and they see Madonna dancing around and the burning cross and different things. Yeah, that's a little bit shocking. But and I remember talking to a girl when this song came out, and I was young when it came out, and she let me know that she seen it a different way. That the song was really spiritual to her. So that brings up a point that sometimes videos or imagery on album covers or just preconceived thoughts that a person could have on a band can be different than what is intended, or maybe what the lyrics say. So sometimes maybe people could think controversial things when the lyrics themselves aren't necessarily controversial. All right, so Sarah said never cared for the video. See, that's what I was saying, that the video didn't really correspond with the song necessarily. So maybe you're like this girl that I speak of from back in the day. She didn't relate the song to the video. All right. Well, thank you, Sarah, for kind of making my point. We're kind of working together. Me and Sarah putting on the show together. My partner. And here's the follow-up. Do you still listen to Madonna nowadays, Sarah? Uh, Jason, do you still listen to Randy Travis? Uh, and anybody throw out a country song and we can talk about that because I love country also. All right, so here we go. There might be a little delay, so anything you put in the comments, we'll get right to talking about. What song reminds you of riding around in a car with your friends? What song reminds you of riding around in the car with your friends? On and off. Now, Sarah, do you have a song that reminds you of riding around in a car with your friends? Uh, Now, I go back to riding around in a car with friends, and there's different times that I can go back to. I can remember the times when I was the younger one in the group, and so I didn't. I wasn't the one driving, but I remember I live in the St. Louis area, and KC95 would play Sammy Hagar's "Waiting on the Weekend" every Friday at a certain time. So I remember being in that back seat, and when you heard Sammy Hagar "Waiting on the Weekend," you know we were up to no good, and maybe we were drinking and partying and stuff. So that's not good, but that's what we were doing, and I remember that. And yeah, we had a levee that we lived by too. And not everybody had air conditioners back in these days, or maybe they didn't work, but we would drive around with those windows down, and we would drive down that levee road. It was on top of the levee, so it was just a rock road, and we'd have them windows down and blaring the music. It could be anything. It could be hard rock. It could be Aerosmith, Sweet Emotion. I remember. Speaking of Aerosmith, I remember having the cassette Toys in the Attic, or well, there was Toys in the Attic. No, I remember the Greatest Hits by Aerosmith, and they were a great rock band, and they've had 3 or 4 different careers. And I'll bring back a memory. Speaking of Aerosmith, I remember listening to KC95, like I just mentioned, and they said that Aerosmith had signed an 8-album contract, or it was 8 albums, 8 years. It might have been 8 years. And I thought to myself, man, that's an awful long contract. I wonder if they'll still be you know, good band or people listening to them. That was in the mid 80s. Boy, did they prove that they had some staying power beyond that. All right. Now, Sarah, whenever you were younger, were you the person, were you the DJ, or was somebody else more in charge of playing the music? I was the DJ a lot. Uh, I mean, all right. I played, I was the DJ a lot, but it went around that different people would be in charge. But I always had a lot of music set up at my house, and I bought a lot of CDs and cassettes and different things. All right. So we have someone who says that they like Led Zeppelin Cashmere. All right. Now, definitely the DJ. Way to go, Sarah. Now, speaking of Led Zeppelin, uh, I'm my mom and dad got divorced uh, when I was young, and I moved to a town. I guess in the summer of after my 7th grade year. So 8th grade was my first year. So I it was I had to meet people kind of late, 8th grade. I'm just coming to town, and but things happen when there's a divorce. I went from you know being into sports and different things, and then after the divorce, I moved in with my dad, and we kind of went to not the not the nicer side of town, more of the rough side of town, and I just started having different interests. But music and hard rock was definitely what was going on in this neighborhood, and so there was a lot of Led Zeppelin listening to, is what I'm getting up to, because Sarah said she liked Kashmir, but Led Zeppelin, it, that was like, ooh, kind of something that the older kids would listen to, and but it was powerful, and turns out there was a reason why people like Led Zeppelin, because they were great. And with Led Zeppelin, there was also Rush. I was introduced to Rush and 2112. Wow, was that powerful? We would put in the 2112. I love the side two of that, I think it was. Oh, no, 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 no. I loved the whole thing. But yeah, it was great. All right, so NC Aviation Real has joined us, and we want to welcome you. So, uh, Aviation, what we're doing, we're going down memory lane, and we're sharing memories through the chat, and hopefully you join us. And it's been great so far. All right, so let's go with the next question that could possibly bring up some nostalgic memories. What's a song you didn't appreciate when it first came out but love now? What's a song you didn't appreciate when it came out but love now? And I'll expand that to what song, what group, what singer, what genre. So anything that you guys want to throw out there will be appreciated, and we'll talk about. So, what's a song you didn't appreciate when it first came out but love now? That's an interesting question. And like I said, this can be a genre too, a genre of music. Is there a genre of music that you didn't appreciate? Uh, at one time of your life, and now you do? I appreciated so many different styles of music, but I would say that I never really necessarily had anything against country music, but I remember it was the early 90s. My brother, he's a few years older than me, introduced me to Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, uh, Clint Black, you know, these bands. And anyway, I'm a country music lover. All right, so now here we go. Sarah says she wasn't a fan of Prince, but Party Like It's 1999 grew on me. Uh, that was a good song. And I loved Prince, and but I didn't necessarily appreciate him as the artist that he is, because he's a more talented artist than some people know about. He can play every instrument, uh, and not just play him at a low level. He can play him at the highest of level. He's a an amazing guitarist, and he knew what he wanted from an early age when he was a young teenager. And so when I think his first album, he had played all the parts. And we got now Jason's talking about Elvis, and my wife, she loves Elvis now, and I don't think my dad was, like I had said earlier, was the biggest Elvis fan. So Elvis, we grew up with Elvis. But my wife, I don't think she had anything against Elvis, but she gets moved by his songs now a lot, and she's seen the movie that came out a couple years ago or so, and anyway, she fell in love with Elvis. She loves Elvis, and I love Elvis too. All right, Jason, do you have a favorite Elvis song? All right, so we're gonna move on. Like I said, whenever you guys put something in a comment, we'll talk about it. I don't know. All shook up. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Elvis. I remember, like I said, my dad loves Elvis, and he's real hard of hearing, so that's tough. But I bought him the Elvis Number Ones album, and but yeah, Elvis has a lot of songs, and some people love him. Some people might have some negative things to say. He didn't. I don't think he wrote too many songs. He sang songs by other people, and that was more how it was. Green, green grasses of Kentucky. Now, Jason, what kind of song is that? Is that a country style song? Is that uh, what do you call it? More of a gospel song? Rhythm and blues. I don't necessarily remember that song exactly. So, what style of song is that? All right. So, welcome everybody as you come in. Hopefully, now I haven't spoke to everybody in a little bit. I want you to know that I am a baby in the YouTube game, so my stuff is unpolished. Uh, you know, probably worthy to pass over, and there's better things to watch. But I thank you guys for stopping by, and I hope to get better. And it'd be nice if you know we could build on this. Oh, now so Jason says it's more of a country song that "Green Green Grasses of Kentucky." That Patsy Cline sang it, and a lot of people sang it, and Anne Murray sang it. Now, speaking of Anne Murray, uh, my dad had, I think, Anne Murray's greatest hits on 8-track, and he would play that in his Lincoln Continental Mach 5, I think it was. But Anne Murray had a pretty voice, and that I was young. I wasn't an Anne Murray fan, but she was a good singer, I guess, a good storyteller in her songs. I enjoyed it, even though it wasn't my thing, but that was something my dad played. And I remember he played Anne Murray, and we had Kenny Rogers' greatest hits. That was a good one. All right. Anybody comment anything you want, and we'll talk about it. We're back to a movie question. What movie character from your younger years made the biggest impression on you? Oh, this is a good question. What movie character from your younger years made the biggest impression on you? Now, when this says younger years, I'm going to go back to, I would say, I'm not sure, maybe it was the late 90s, early 2000s. I can't remember, but Rudy Rudiger, and this I won't say made the biggest impression on me, but this made an impression on me. Rudy Rudiger from the movie Rudy. I love that movie. That inspired me, kind of like Rocky inspired me when I was 10 years old. Rudy inspired me as a young man, and I still try to. Well, I mean, I don't think of Rudy, but it's still kind of the way I live my life. Is I try to have great work ethic. I try to be one that doesn't give up, and you know, it might be said that you know they would maybe people at work would like to have more Uncle Phils because the same way they would want more Rudies in their spirit because I don't give up. I believe it can be done. All right. All right. Let's see. So, anybody remember any movies from back in the day that had an impression on them? If so, you just comment and we'll get to that. Sarah, we might be kindred spirits because I thought you were going to talk about me. When it says actor is Chevy Chase and his oddball behavior and silliness and comedy reminds me a little of myself, I thought you were going to say reminds you of me because I'm in life, not necessarily on the on this show or program or time together that we're having, but in life, I'm the goofiest, silliest person that can make jokes on the spot. So I I'm usually the funniest person in the room. All right, Chevy Chase, inspiring somebody. That's impressive. Chevy Chase, he's a tall guy. All right. Uh-oh, it's time for love, heartbreak, and life. Question 16. What song would you choose as the soundtrack to your first real love? Whoa. That's a big question. What song would you choose as the soundtrack to your first real love? Well, what if I said my first real love was my current wife, my only wife? Uh, I like the song that she has for us, Broken Roads by Rascal Flatts. And that can be a good song for love, but it can also be just a good song for and an inspiration for where you're at in life. And so I've made a lot of mistakes and done too much party living and this, that, and the other. And I would tell people, and I have a conversation street outreach ministry that I do. I go out on the streets and I talk to homeless and people who are just having harder times. You know, maybe they have a place to stay, maybe they don't, but a lot of homeless. And I have conversations with them, but and the reason why is that all these mistakes I've made, all these broken roads, detours, heartbreaks, letdowns, temporary failures, obstacles. Yeah, they were hard and they hurt, but it brought me to where I'm at today. And so God had a reason, and it gives me a chance to talk to those and help people out, not do the same things that I've done. And so I try to talk with no judgment and with a little bit of understanding. You know, I don't know all situations, but I've been through some. And so God bless the broken road, you know, because it led me straight to you. And it leads me to right where I'm at. And so that's a good song that can describe something about my life. All right. Lionel Richie, Endless Love. Now, was that with Diana Ross? Did she sing with him on that one? Uh, Lionel Richie. I just seen a video of him. He was on stage. Unfortunately, he had to sit down and he was exhausted, or who knows what happened. But I don't know. He may have canceled that show, and maybe he canceled the tour. I'm not sure, but anyway, prayers for Lionel Richie. And but anyway, speaking of Lionel Richie, his songs definitely are nostalgic. They can boom. They just can touch you emotionally, but also his voice. When you would just hear him, like the first words that he would sing in a song, it'd be like, whoa, that's Lionel Richie. And you got to be pretty good to go from the Commodores and then become Lionel Richie. Well, always Lionel Richie, but go solo and even be bigger, in my opinion. But yeah, Lionel Richie, very powerful singer. And Endless Love. Now, Sarah, does that remind you of a heartbreak or? But yeah, that happens. All right, I got a question for you. Uh, Sarah says that Lionel Richie, almost every song is a good one, and you can listen to him. Yes, he's great. Yeah, uh, yeah. He must not have accepted BS songs. I mean, he probably made him good just by who he is and his voice and stuff. But maybe he had a high standard for only wanting to do songs that were worthy. All right. Now, I'll just do a follow up and then we'll go on to the next question. Now, are you an old grandpa? Uh, no, I'm not actually. I'm Uncle Phil. I'm everybody's uncle. But I have nieces and nephews, but that's who I am. That's my name that I go by is Uncle Phil. And so I'm not quite an old grandpa, but I'm an old uncle. And So I like to love on everybody, and this is in real life. This isn't me just telling a tale. Like I said, I do street outreach. I just like to love people, and I also call myself Uncle Phil because I do a lot of cooking for people, and I cook for strangers, and sometimes I open up my yard to strangers. I set up tables and stuff because I want everybody to feel like they're part of the family, and I'm Uncle Phil because I want to do it backyard barbecue style. But anyway, Trissy N5C, where are you from? And are you an old person or a young person? I told you that I was old, but I'm old, but age is just a number because, man, I can be in a room of teenagers and I'm still the most immature, goofy person in the room. All right. What song reminds you of your parents or your family? 95. You were born in 95 or you're 95? And my dad, who's going to be coming over to shoot pool with me, he's 86 and I'm 56. And his brother's 95, just turned 95. So if you're 95, happy 95 to you. Ha! Is his brother single? Is my dad single? My dad is single. Well, I don't know. He's got actually, he's got a good friend. I think he's, I don't know why they don't call themselves boyfriend and girlfriend. Him and his friend, they both had a spouse pass, and they've been close ever since. They see each other every day, and they care about each other a lot. But yeah, they got their own house, and they just do it that way. They I guess they wouldn't want to ever get married again, but they would probably be brokenhearted if and when they separate. Trissy, thank you for commenting. You don't look a day over 70. All right, here we go. We're going to continue on, and we're going down memory lane. So anything you got, throw it in the comment, and we're going to talk about, and I will honor you for stepping up to the plate and putting in a comment. All right, so we did ask this question, and we haven't got an answer yet. What song reminds you of your parents or your family? And I spoke on this. I love older women. I spoke on this, and I love mature people. I had a nursing home ministry that me and my mom would do when I first became a Christian, and that was 20 years ago, or a little more, pretty recent. And but she kind of mentored me, and I was an adult, so we didn't live together, but we lived close enough. And she was a prayer warrior, and she was a very involved, strong Christian woman. And she was doing nursing home ministry, and I started going with her, and I would just bring cookies and pass them out to the residents, and I would give hugs, and I would pass out the lyrics to the songs, to the hymns we would sing. But no, I do have a special place in my heart for mature people. Then my mom went to the memory care facility before she passed, and me and my wife, we would go there and sit and talk to people. And the thing that, so I definitely enjoy being around older people, and the one thing I do that from the nursing home ministries and just people in general is I would treat a older person, make fun of them and tell them jokes, and treat them just like I would treat anybody else, and make them laugh, and so that's what I do. I just I love on them, and but I don't tippy toe around. I think they love it when you're outrageous with them and just have a good time. Uh, but I have reverence, but also I just like to play around, and I think they enjoy that too. All right, classic rock reminds Sarah of her parents and her family life. Now, Sarah, did you tell me how old you were? Because we've been having some good interaction. Because you've been the things you've been saying makes it feel like you're my age, but maybe not. All right. So speaking of classic rock, and I think this may be a question later on, but the band Bad Company, great classic rock band, and you just don't hear enough of them. All right, so we're moving on. If you could go back and experience one night from your younger years, what song would you want playing in the background? Ooh, this is a good one. Uh, Trissy, are you still around? This is a question that I'd like to hear from you. If you could go back and experience one night from your younger years again, what song would you want playing in the background? And Sarah or anybody else on here? Jason, you still around? Uh, if you could go back and experience one night from your younger years again, what song would you want playing in the background? That's an interesting question. So Sarah's 45. Well, yeah, we have a lot of overlap on, I guess, the music that we've heard uh, growing up. And I on my channel, I go to concerts with my son and I record them. And like I said, age is a number for me because I still go to a lot of heavy metal, thrash concerts and stuff. And but anyway, I try to have responsibilities, be responsible for my age, but I just haven't grown up. I still think of myself as a teenager at heart sometimes. All right. If you could go back and experience one night from your younger years again, what song would you want playing in the background? That coffee is definitely cold now. And when you hear that song in the background, where do you envision yourself at? Are you having fun with your friends? Are you with your parents? Are you by yourself? Uh, so if you can go back and experience one night from your younger years, what song would you want playing in the background? All right, Pink Floyd. I love your taste in music. Pink Floyd, uh, songs make me think of my younger years. I like Comfortably Numb, but just for the electric guitar, not necessarily the lyrics. Yeah, what was his name? Is it David Gilmour that played guitar for Pink Floyd? I could be wrong, but there's a long story to Pink Floyd. They had a lead singer that I guess he got messed up on acid, and this was before they. I think they may have had just one album with them, uh, maybe no albums. I can't remember, but uh, like if you know the song "Wish You Were Here," I believe that the song is talking about him, but they still gave him money from the music that they made, even though he really didn't have anything to do with it. I think he might have been institutionalized. But yeah, there's a story. But yeah, Pink Floyd. Speaking of Pink Floyd, has anybody seen the what's that big tribute band that does Pink Floyd? I hear they're great. I'm interested in seeing them. All right. All right. Anybody just chat in as you please. Say whatever you want, and we'll have conversation about it. Uh, I have thoroughly enjoyed this, and we're going to continue on. Back to a movie question. What movie inspired you or taught you something about life? All right, well, I kind of answered on this one earlier, and I'll reiterate. Uh, the movie Rudy inspired me, and it taught me something. I like to be the hardest worker. I like to not give up. Uh, it's funny at work. I work at a steel mill. I'm a millwright, and we'll have a lot of work in front of us or a hard job. And everybody knows me. They know I'm goofy or whatever, but I'll be in the break room and I'll be giving that Rudy Rudiger speech. All right, man, we're 7 points behind, but we're not going to stop until we get across that goal line or whatever. I just try to rah, 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 and get people motivated. Some people will probably get on their nerves, but most people have put up with me and know I'm just messing around. All right. One time I tried to give that rah rah speech by running and jumping on a table at work, and I didn't quite make it on top of the table and about broke my neck, and the boss is just looking at me like, you're crazy. Don't get hurt, but go ahead and work as hard as you're trying to get people to work. All right. Round 5. Then and now. What music did you listen to when you were young that your kids or younger people today don't understand? Well, any answer is a good answer, but and I won't say this is a song or a genre or anything that people don't understand, but sometimes my teenage son will watch an old music video and they'll be so goofy and low tech, and they're just not very good, some of them, and he just doesn't understand why we were so excited about that silly video. All right, so what music did you listen to when you were what music did you listen to when you were young that your kids or younger people today don't understand? Uh, well, I'm going to do this in the opposite way. And it's, like I said, I'm getting a little older, but I still got younger tendencies. I still, I go to concerts, I record them and put them on my channel, but I go to thrash concerts. I've been to Meshuggah. I've seen the old stuff, the Slayer, Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, all the big four, the big ones. But I still go and see. Well, I've seen Alabama recently. I've seen Third Day. I do Christian concerts, country, metal. I like it all. But back to what I'm getting ready to say is my son is my 17-year-old. We started going to metal concerts probably when he was 13, maybe. And I started him off slow, tribute bands, Ozzy and stuff. But we seen Pantera, we seen different bands, and but now I hear him in his room playing, Pantera on guitar and playing some off the wall, balls to the wall by Accept, different stuff, and I'm like, I'll go in there and like, what are you listening? What are you playing? And he'll tell me, and I'll like, where'd you hear that song at? And he'll say, well, you told me about it. And so it and he loves it. He's a true blue. He likes all different styles of music, but he can play that metal, and that's awesome. That is awesome. And by the way, just want to give a shout out to my son. He's 17. He's always been a good boy, becoming a good man now, and he started his senior year. Today was his first day, and he's got a job, and he's going to do co-op, so he'll get out of school early and go to work for some hours, and he's going to join the Navy when he gets out of his senior year. And never did the things that I've done, not the partying, not the drugs, and not the trouble with the law and the different things. So I'm thankful for him, and like I said, my life experience has allowed me to help other people, and so I try to talk to him and not have him make the mistakes I made. All right. What's one song from your younger years that you still know every word to? What's one song from your younger years that you still know every word to? All right, somebody, put an answer out there. What's one song from your younger years that you still know every word to? Well, I still remember every word to the song One by Metallica. Um, anyway, hopefully I don't forget all the lyrics to songs, but I guess you do when you don't listen to the songs, you haven't heard them for a long time. And like I said earlier, that music has a power to it. Because when I'd go visit my mom, like I said, at the memory care facility, there'd be dementia patients and residents, and they wouldn't remember very much, but they could remember the lyrics to them hymns, Amazing Grace, Old Rugged Cross, and they would sing those songs and mouth the songs as the tears come down their face. So, what's one song from your younger years that you still know every word to? All right. So, everybody, you're welcome to say anything in the chat, and we'll talk about. What music do you listen to now that you never would have imagined listening to when you were younger? All right. Let's see. I know that was a tough one. What about love? Now, I watched a recent show on Heart on YouTube, and that was a pretty good story. The Ann and Nancy Wilson, uh, but yeah, you should check it out. I guess the lead singer Nancy, she was in the band first. She had a great voice, and I think she was maybe introverted or whatever, but the band really helped express herself. And it was a few years later, I think, that her sister joined the band, and they both married brothers. And it was a pretty interesting story. Blake Shelton. Now, Blake Shelton does sing some good songs, and I can go back to old Blake Shelton before I really knew who Blake Shelton was. He sang that song, Old Red, about a dog. That was a good one. But having said that, Blake Shelton has many good songs that are, big time worthy. So Blake Shelton, yeah, he had has a great voice, and he seems to be a fun person. All right, we'll ask it one more time, then we'll move on. What one song from your younger years that you still know every? Oh no, yet. We'll move on. What music do you listen to now that you never would have imagined listening to when you were younger? And Sarah said country, and that she likes Blake Shelton. Um, well, speaking of country, and I don't really pertain to this question, but that song, Choosing Texas, that's a good song. And I like the way Ella has transcended people who like her. It's funny because I see videos where, they say even tough guys like Ella, and I like her, and they say she's unapologetically herself. All right, if you could give a teenager today one song from your generation and say, you need to hear this, what song would it be? Oh my. If you could give a teenager today one song from your generation and say, you need to hear this, what song would it be? Wow. It's like a lot of responsibility in that question. Oh, I don't know. That one's too hard. But that's a great question. I would be interested in hearing people's answers so I could listen to those songs, because they would probably be some good ones, and at least they mean a lot to the person who puts it on that high of a level. All right. Well, guys, it's getting a little late, and I'm probably going to have to get going. And I just want to say thank you for spending this time with me. I'm an unpolished, low level uh, guy on YouTube, but maybe together, with each other's help, I'll get a little better and stronger at what I do. But that doesn't change the fact that we had good conversation today, and I'll just end the show like this. For now, Uncle Phil loves you. Uncle Phil out.